So now we move on to this kind of outro chorus kind of part of the song, and a really cool part of the song as well that I've been looking forward to getting to. I'll just play you quickly how this is sounding, and then we'll dive into what we did.
Love, show me
We
fire.
fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young. We'd fall in love and
Yeah, so this consists of basically one main layer here, where she's singing the whole thing. And we've got two kind of unison BVs here. And then we've got all these kind of harmonies and BVs, so different things here. We've got a tenor, we've got a high version, we've got a soprano. So we'll start with what we did with the actual main vocal. As you can see, in terms of editing for this, not too much. I reduced some of the S's and some of the breaths. I did some fade-ins here as well on some of these harsher kind of transient sounds throughout, but nothing too major. Play these raw, and we'll dive into what we did.
we'd fall in love and we drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young.
So we're using the RX mouth D-click thing here. Not many clicks and pops on this vocal, but I put it on there anyway just to clean it up. We're using a little bit of waves tune, and this is an alternative to auto tune. It's on a really slow setting, so it's not making it sound robotic at all, but it's just to kind of clean up any slight pitch issues. And we got a de-esser here, similar to how I showed you on the other vocals.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to.
Very slight EQ thing here, just a little bit of a boost actually here in the low mids. I wanted to give it a little bit more body, and doing a high pass as usual just to remove any rumble. And then I'm using the Shep's Omni channel as opposed to the SSL channel that I was using on the other vocals. For some reason I decided to use this for this vocal. And as you can see, we're doing a little bit of EQ, a little bit of saturation, and we're compressing as well with this channel strip here.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young.
So you'll see here this compression. If you look at this gain reduction kind of dial here, you'll see that it's only really compressing on the higher parts, like these bigger parts. It's a very dynamic vocal, and I didn't want to remove all of that dynamics, but I wanted to just obviously tame it when it gets big and keep the low parts uncompressed. So you'll see it's only really pushing down on these bigger parts throughout this.
The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young.
So that's kind of just taming the dynamics and also obviously adding level with the makeup gain. Then we move over to what we did on the channel. And again, it's very similar to the other vocals, just adding some brightness and some more compression.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young.
Just a nice bit of air being added with that. And again, just bringing it more up front with that compression. Obviously, we're using the same de-esser again.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young. We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much.
With the Pro MB, I'm adding a little bit of low end down here. And then I'm compressing some of the mid-range here just to keep it from getting too harsh.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young.
I'm going to bring in the two doubles here when we move on to this next piece.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about.
So these are just unison, so they're basically just doubles singing the same thing as the main layer, and I've just panned them left and right. So on the end of the track stack here for Morgan's main vocals here, I've added this MoTT plugin again with this vocal clarity preset, just at 16%.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back.
It's not doing a whole lot. It's just bringing it up a little bit, bringing the dynamics more in line. Now, in terms of reverbs and delays on these singing vocals here, I haven't actually added any delay on the sends like I did on the other vocals in the song, because I've used this delay thrower here throughout. So I've selected the parts that I wanted to put delay on rather than over the whole vocals. But what I have done is added some reverbs. So first reverb is the same reverb on the rap vocals, but just probably sent a little bit more of this to that.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was...
So that's the really small kind of reverb. And then I've added this bigger reverb, which is down here on bus 26. For that, I'm using the Valhalla Vintage Verb with these settings.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young. We'd fall...
So quite a big reverb on there. Wanted this to feel kind of luscious and, you know, things kind of swelling out of it. So we went for quite a big reverb on there. And then we've used that Airbus again. But we've sent quite a lot of this to that Airbus.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young.
So the other kind of integral part of this section of the song is these delays here.
We'd fall in love and we'd drink too much. We'd do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. When we were young.
So quite a cool sound on these. And for that, again, I copied the settings from the main channel up to this channel. But then on the end of it, well, first of all, we EQ'd out all the lows and a lot of the highs. So it's very mid-rangey, what's being sent to this delay here. And then I'm using this Stellar Echo. And this is quite new to the Slate bundle. And I really like this when I'm trying to get a kind of cool, kind of vintagey sounding delay from something. And I'll show you what I'm doing here. So you'll see the settings here. It's on an 8th note. I've got a plate reverb on the delay return. So on the actual delay, the decay of the delay, we've got a reverb on that. A little bit of widening here and a high pass and a low pass. And I just like the way this sounds, you know. I'll try and play this without the reverbs and without the width, and then with.
We drink too much. When we were young. When we were young. Was having fun. When we were young.
So yeah, I just like this kind of analog vintage kind of sound that I get from this delay, and I just thought it really worked to kind of fill these gaps. Let me play you this with the song. I'll mute these harmonies and BVs because we'll get to them in a minute. I'll play you this now with everything done.
Show me
We
fire.
fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young. We'd fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young.
So really nice, but then these harmonies and BVs really bring this out. Let me play you these fully processed.
We fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young.
So really nice. As you see, I've not done any editing at all on these. I left these completely as they were because I felt like it just added more life. Sometimes it's not good to do editing on nice background vocals like this and just leave them very raw, very natural. And if there's timing issues and things like that, it can just add to the feel. I don't want to remove that, so I haven't even took away the breaths or anything on these. They sit quite low in the mix, so those things are generally not really heard in this instance, so I didn't feel the need to do any editing. And all I've done on these individual channels is that little bit of auto-tune with the Waves Tune real time, a little bit of compression with the Shep's Omni channel, and then I've just done this slight bit of EQ, and that will be the same on all of these pretty much. So all of these channels will be treated the same, but then as you'll see, as we go through, I've panned left and right. So the ones that match each other, like this BV.
We fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to and
So thankfully we've got pairs of these, so it allows me to add that width with these stems. You know, I can add one left and one right, and it just helps to bring some bigness to this section of the song. And then over here, it will be pretty much the same processing in terms of compression and everything.
we fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about.
I'm removing some of the presence here, as you see with this EQ. I'm dipping out some of the highs and the high mids, probably just so that it doesn't compete with the main. I wanted this to play like a background role, obviously being background vocals. Only a slight bit of compression as well. A little bit of de-essing, similar to what we've already showed you.
Was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young.
A little bit of compression there in the low mids, just to clean it up a little bit. And I'm using this Vocal Airy preset on the MoTT. I'm layering up plugins here, but it all sounded good to me, so we don't care.
We fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun.
And I put Valhalla plate actually on this track stack itself, rather than using it as a send. I've actually put it on the thing here. Doesn't matter, you know, we can work this way, it's fine.
We fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young.
Really nice. I really like how that reverb sounds on there. And I've used this SSL Fusion stereo image plugin. I'm just adding some width and some space with this.
We fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun.
That's just subtly spreading it out a little bit more, adding even more width and space to these vocals.
We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back.
Yeah, then I'm using this EQ again just to remove some of the mud that I felt was still in there. So I'll play this now in the song so you can get a feel for the context. And I think it sounds nice when it all comes together.
So let's go. Show me love, show me love, show me
We
fire.
fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young. We fall in love and we drink too much. We do some dumb things when we were young. The only thing we cared about was having fun. Wish we could go back to when we were young.
What goes around still comes around. Kick a ball and put jumpers down. Saturday comes, catch a bus to town. Roller coaster, get ups and downs. No height restriction, times were different.